Welcome to Living Winnipeg from Artist Emporium. I'm Jenny Beck and I'll show you a rich palette for vibrant living in our city. We're in front of one of the many classes you can take here at Artist Emporium. Wendy Kroeker is an artist and a teacher, and today she's going to teach us how to paint with watercolors. Now Wendy, I've never done this before, so how much artistic ability do you need?
Well, you really don't need a lot of artistic ability. I'm going to be teaching you some techniques to get you started as a beginner so that you can overcome any difficulties or apprehensions that you have.
Okay,
so
I have a few, so let's get started. Yeah, what's the first step?
The first step we're going to do, first of all, we have already drawn out our picture.
And just the outline, I guess, really.
Yeah, just a simple outline is all you really need. We can put in details in the painting process later. The first thing you and I are going to do is we're going to put in our sky and our water. So we're going to just dip into our water like this, and we're going to wet our paper.
Just all on top?
All over, yes.
And is this a sort of technique, on the wet canvas here?
Yes, it is. This is a technique called wet on wet technique.
Okay.
And so we wet our paper, and from our wetting our paper, we use wet paint on top of the paper. That creates blends, and that's what we want to do. We want to create a nice blended sky. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into our yellow, and it's a little got some orange in there, but don't worry about it. And right along the horizon line here, we're going to start putting in our sunset.
Yes.
So just put in some yellow like that and pull it up a little bit. And then from there, we're going to go right into our orange.
I like these broad strokes. I can deal with this.
This is really creative. It's really a freeing medium.
And what are we painting here? This is a sunset of where?
This is a sunset of Lake of the Woods at Kenora. My husband took the picture. So we're doing that. It's a really beautiful, beautiful scene, and we went there for supper.
Oh, and, wonderful.
It was a sunset, so it was great.
Okay, well, we're going to continue working on our sky and our water here, and just join us after the break, and we'll continue our painting.
Okay, let's go.
Vince, what do you like about shopping here at Artist Emporium?
Well, I have been framing my own photographs for quite a while, for about 5 years, and I have been coming here all the time. And what do I like best about this place is, aside from the stuff that's here all the time, when I come in, there's nothing missing. I always find something. I always come and get what I need, and it's always here. I never have to wait. Aside from that, is the service here is amazing. I mean, you come in here, everybody is smiling at you, say hello and talk to you, and they're very knowledgeable what they're doing. I mean, I come in here sometimes, I don't know what I need. The fellow back there says, this is what you need, okay? And it turns out that's exactly what I need.
Wendy's been teaching me watercolors here at Artist Emporium. Now we've let our base dry in our background, and we've worked in a few clouds, so what's next?
The next thing we're going to do is we are going to paint in our islands. And that's going to give us some beautiful contrast in our picture, in our background.
All right, some dark colors in.
So we're going to start with this color right here. So load up your brush.
Yeah.
And away we go. We start at the edge here on the background, and we're just going to dab in the color all the way along. And
I like this technique.
Right on.
Yeah.
And as you get closer to where our sun source is right here, you're going to lighten up your paint. So it's going to look something like that.
And you lighten it up by just putting less pressure on it then?
You lighten it up by adding more water to your paint.
Oh, I see. It's all about water. Now, why would some people say watercolors can be challenging?
Watercolor's challenging because you have to let watercolor do its own thing. And the other thing is, when you make mistakes with watercolor, it's very, very difficult to correct it because it soaks into the paper very quickly.
And is there a way to correct it at all?
There's some things you can correct, but other things you can't. So it's really very important to plan well before you start. Plan how you're going to paint your picture before you actually start the painting.
All right, you really have to commit then.
You really have to commit. Okay, let's keep going.
Okay, and then do you have any other tips for beginners like myself?
Well, I always tell beginners, learn to draw, and I also tell beginners to do a lot of practicing and be relaxed and know that it's okay to be different. It doesn't have to be perfect.
I love that. It does not
It doesn't have to be
perfect.
It doesn't have to look like somebody else's work.
Okay.
And I think the other thing is to keep it simple. Keep your subject matter simple.
I'm going to keep those things in mind as I work away on my piece here. This has been really quite enjoyable so far.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm going to keep working on my piece here, but I could use a chair. Now.
you can come here and you always find something that you want to pick up. You really do.
That's the problem, huh?
Yeah,
you
you
come in
always-
for something,
So,
but then
like,
you get everything
well,
else.
we came here for one person, now she's picking and she wants to pick up something, and I end up probably going to end up picking something up myself.
And you're picking up the tab too, I guess.
I'm afraid so.
Wendy and I are just finishing up our watercolor pieces here at Artist Emporium. Wendy, what's our final step?
Our final step is to put reflections in the water, reflections of the islands.
Okay, let's do that then.
Okay, let's go for it. We got some paint mixed already. So we go in there with our flat brush. We're using a flat brush. And we're just going to, with little tiny marks, create a reflection. And don't get confused between reflection and shadows. Those are two different things. So this is reflection.
And I notice we are working off of another painting here, or a photograph. Do you recommend that versus working from memory?
I highly recommend beginners to work with photographs, especially their own photographs, because they can identify with that.
Oh yeah, so you have more of a personal connection to it.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then if you have kids, how early can you get kids involved in watercolor?
I think you can get any child, any age involved in watercolor as long as they're interested. And I actually had a young little baby of 18 months old actually enjoyed
18 months?
Yeah, 18
Oh
months
my
old.
goodness.
He
Okay.
enjoyed watercolor. It was wonderful.
Well, you know, I have to say, Wendy, this has been quite an experience for me because I've never been very confident about my art abilities.
Jenny, you have done a wonderful job. You're very talented.
Well, it's because you're a great teacher. Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
this.
This has been a pleasure.
Oh, it's been so fun.
Let's keep on going.
Wendy teaches Wednesdays at Artist Emporium at least once a month. Go to artistemporium.net for more details. You can try this and a lot more workshops at the Artist Emporium in their store on St. James Street. Wendy, all of this creativity is making me flushed.